Kia ora. Tairi Moate speaking, and welcome to this lesson. What I'm going to do here is going to give you an overview. If you know my backstory, when I was learning the language, I found it hard at first, so I sort of learned it in the way that I could understand it. And the way that I could understand it, I had to marry it up to, what we learn in English school. Because in New Zealand, Australia, you have a curriculum at school, you're wired up a certain way. And it's not too different from Cook Island, but there's just a few subtle changes, and I was able to pick it up by just adjusting a few things. So hopefully, my system, our system, because it's also a system we're able to teach our children, um, will be able to help you out. So just to give you my goal in this first lesson is just to give you an overview of the 7 steps, and without flushing you with a fire hydrant and have heaps and heaps of information. That's not the goal. The goal is just to give you an overview of the steps that we take, and then in the other lessons following, then we break it down. Okay, so we have 7 steps, and if I could just refer to the board here, this is what I call the key steps. If you can get to know your your I's and your verbs and your nouns, because every sentence in English, I go church, I go shop, I jump over the trestle or whatever. There's always a verb and a noun. Okay, and if we're talking about I think they call that in school, they call that personal pronouns. I, you, we, them, they, those two, us two. Okay, so the first thing to learn, in my view, after you've learned the basic greetings, anyone can learn the greetings, kia ora ana, koe, koe, o tairi toku ingoa, that sort of stuff. They're the basics. After that, you should learn pronunciation. So we've got pronunciation drills in our system, which is we call it pre-system, because when you're talking Maori, and I just refer to that a little bit, I won't go deep, but long story short, when we speak English, we speak with a lot of sharp, like because the vowels are different. A, E, I, O, U. So if you try it, you'll see that your mouth sort of clips off. But in Maori, it's more open. It's roundy. Ah, e, o, u. So, so what's the difference? The difference is we use different muscles in our face, in our mouth, when we pronounce in English and pronounce in Maori. So it's quite important that you practice and drill, getting the la, wa, wa, a lot of roundies, eh? Utu, oto, koko, popo. If it was straight English, we're po po, coco, yeah, utu, that sort of thing. Um, so I won't go too far into that, but there's another lesson that covers facial exercises. And if you can practice on your facial exercises, you'll do well with the language. I give you an example. I used to say this word, akatea, tea, mao, mao. Yeah, shame, eh? But you actually say akatea, tea, mao, mao. Okay? Just to give you an example. And it's because when you read it in English, akatea, tea, mao, mao. But that, as I said, you've got to drill your mouth, your facial gestures. So you drill with the pronunciation drills that we've got. It should be akatete mau mau. Okay. So anyhow, back to the system, because we got 7 steps, and I just want to explain it easily. If you're a baby, you start out like a baby. Baby go, mine, mine, I, drink, drink, drink. Baby wants to drink, right? So those are identification of my, yours, mine, noku, all that sort of stuff, which is I. You need to learn those words. There's about, in the notes we got about 13 of them. You don't need to learn all 13 straight up. You just need to learn probably four: mine, au, koe, yours, uh, toku, mine, and we will go through all that in the stage one step. Okay, if you can get four, you're sweet. You need to join that with a verb, because every sentence in English and in Cook Island there's a verb. Um, I eat. Remembering a verb is a doing word. It's an action word. I speak. I I sleep. I walk. I go. I fly. I run. Ororo. I poo-poo. Whatever. But you need to like identify all the words in English that you speak in your everyday conversation. You know, we're going to squash, we're going to school, I'm going to take the kids to school, all that sort of stuff. So verbs are critical. Now, if you've ever heard a Chinese that's no good at English, they go, I go shop. They speak like that. Or even some of the freshies that come overseas, come home, they go, I go post office or something like that. It's just I, verb, noun. So nouns, as you may be able to recall, just checking my mic. Nouns are places, objects, like pen, noun, hat, noun, house, noun, watch, noun, shirt, noun, etc., etc. Okay, so you always got I, verb, noun. So in English, you'll hear, I'm going to the shop. Okay, I'm going to the shop. Okay, I'm going to get to that, to the, because that actually is number 4. You got 1, 2, 3, and then we got a second level. They fly it in there, and we call it the joining words. Remember, this is just an overview. I'm just giving you an overview. This is the one that tripped me up a lot. Yeah, made my head sore. But it's not that bad, because the joining words, there might be 10, 12 of them, over there. Hiko, ikone, it's all the joining words. I go to the, um, at the, I bought this at the shop. So those are what we call joining words. And joining words is step 4. It's not that hard to learn, especially when you can learn it in the context, not just learning an individual word by itself, but learning it in a sentence. So after that, and these words that are coming on the second level, I just put a line there. Let's call this the second level. Because once you got these 3 sorted, you got to have them sorted to be able to make a sentence. Then these joining words are what we call the glue words. They like a glue, they make things stick together. So I'm going to run out of the board here, so I'm going to put this number 5 there, numero lima. And what that is adjectives. So just so to remind you of school, so you have a noun and an adjective. And an adjective describes the shop. It describes, I'll just move this side, Adjective describes the noun. Okay, so the Indian shop, Te Toa Initia, the white church, Arepure Tetea. Okay, so these words amplify the sentence, I guess, but they make the sentence, instead of being bush, I go shop, I am going to the Indian shop. Okay, so those are adjectives. You learn that in step 5. And really, when I say you learn, it's about having tools, the words to be able to say. So stick with me, because it ain't that hard. We'll be able to crack this thing. After adjectives, there's another joining words in here to describe the verb. Actually, at school they called it adverbs. Like, I go quickly. Quickly as an adverb, it describes how you're doing the thing. I jump freely. I I smoke happily. Something like that. But they are called adverbs. So this is the, what do we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I read done with the pen. So those are adverbs, adverbs. You might have heard, adviviki, ademadi, go fast, go slow. Um, yeah, those sort of words. They describe the verb, how you're doing the verb. And then, what else we got here? We're just about there, by the way. Mm, to dive. Uh, in the lessons that come with this program, we've got the list of words on each one. Probably about 10 there, 10 verbs, 10 nouns, and again, it's about part of it for you is listing out the words that you use the most, and then slotting them in. I think we've provided some sheets where you can slot in the main words you use every day, and then put the Maori words up, so you can see it in front of you. So, uh, so those are the adverbs. These are the adjectives. Adjectives describe a noun, what sort of shop it is. Adverbs describe the verb and how you're doing that verb, going quickly, going slowly, running fast, running slow. And then after that is number 7. Here's to number 7. Okay, yeah, it's here. Is that camera on? So just to show, I just got it all put in front of me. Number 7 is, then we go to the tenses, like I go to shop. That's a present tense, huh? But if you've already done it, I have gone to the shop, or I have went to the shop this morning. So it's in the past tense. And then there's the future tense. Um, I am going to the shop. I'm going to school. So that's in Maori, in Kuka and Maori, it's quite simple. There's 3 tenses. Can you see that on the camera? Okay. There's te, and then your verb nei, te ere nei o ki te tō. Okay? And then if you've already gone, kua, it's in the past, kua. So these are the 3 things that you just got to learn, kua, to say. Kua, ere, o, see, kua, verb, ki te tō, te pōpungi. I've been to the shop this morning. And then, so that's present tense. I ain't got room to write on here. This is past tense, kua. And then the last one is future tense, ka. Anything with ka. Ka imineo, ka oro, ka keikeo. I am going to eat. I am going to run. What was the first one I said? Ka imineo, I am going to sing. Okay? So let's call that step number 7. Numero hitu. So just to recap, I know that's a little bit of a mess, but this is an overview. The goal of this whole lesson is to give you an overview of our 7 steps to be able to pick up the lingo, pick up the language. Because once you have the tools, which are the words and the framework, I guess, It can go like this. I uh, went quickly to the shop. I'll describe the shop as to the Indian shop. Um, if I said in the past, or I've done it this morning or last night, Kua, I've done it already to the Indian shop, Ki Te, um, and I've rolled everything in there in one. Okay, I've rolled the tens, which you don't have to worry. That's at number 7. Learn that number 7. All you want to focus on is you, they, me, verb, go in, and then after you got that, the noun, shop, church, school, whatever. If you want to describe that, primary school or college school or the big white church or the Baptist church, baptizo, uh, you know, um, the joining words come up here, to the, at the, and these adverbs, as I said, you can remember, they describe how you're going to go. Are you going quickly? Are you going slowly? So there's a list of words there that you plug into your toolbox to be able to use. And as I said, number 7 is the tense, whether you're doing it presently or you've already done it, kua, or you're going to do it, ka, okay? So hopefully that's not too mind-blowing or bamboozling, but if you can understand how very simple the framework is, 7 steps, we usually cut through. If you said to me how long it take to cut through this, it really depends on you, but you can cut it through in a morning, in a day. It just depends how much time you're going to commit. The verbs, if you just get to use the verbs every day, the ones that you use, list them. You can get a dictionary, call out a dictionary, or just send them through to us. We'll put the equivalent Māori word. Nouns, all the nouns that you're familiar with, that you use in your everyday life. And then slowly, once you got that core 3, then we can start flying in these joining words. So when you work it out, if you had 10 words there, 10 words there, 10 words, 10 times 10 is 100 times 10 is 1,000. Okay, you can get a variation of sentences going. And then when you join all this lot in, easy, 2,000. It just depends on how many words you get there, and then the math. The whole goal is just to be conversational. It's not to be a scholar or, academic. It enables you to speak with a Cook Islander, um, uh, say speeches, speak with auntie, or listen to grandma, granddad speaking. You'll be able to piece it all together. So I hope that gives you a bit of light. In the next lessons, we will carry on and then break it down. They won't be so long because it's not that hard actually. We'll break it down. It gets a little bit tricky just with these joining ones, and then what they call the R and O categories. Shall I say tona or tana, or nona or nana? Because they trip me up as well. But I wouldn't worry about that because any Cook Islander, doesn't matter whether you get it right or wrong, they'll understand what you're saying, as long as what you're saying is got some sense. Now, in the very next lesson, I'm going to switch it around because in the Cook Islands, their verb is in a different place to English language, and that's the only thing that's the difference. Actually, it's not too different from English, but instead of saying I go to shop, they say go, I shop. Okay, that's the only difference. They switch around the verb to the front, and the person to there, and the noun still stays the same. Okay, hopefully that sort of clued you up a little bit. Look forward to seeing you in the next tape. Ka kite.